Despite most SUVs in this class switching over to turbo 4-cylinder powertrains, the Infiniti QX60 sticks with its roots and sticks with its naturally aspirated V6. But what does this translate to in efficiency? Well, today we're going to find out. This is Chris here with Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test on the 2023 Infiniti QX60 all-wheel drive. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Not too much change for the 23 model year. The only noticeable things are this car now has wireless Apple CarPlay and a slightly different rear bumper trim design. Otherwise, though, it's pretty much the same as what we had last year, and we did actually test one of these last year, and we drove it quite a bit and really kind of liked it. So I'm curious to see what this car will do for this year's fuel economy test. The last time we tested this car, it was a little bit warm out, and Charlie ran it on regular fuel. So today I'm going to run the car on premium. It's a little bit colder out, so I'm curious to see if that will at all affect our results. But give you a little walk around of the car here. There's the back. Gets you some ASMR in these crunchy leaves. But why don't we go ahead, hop in, get started with the test. So then, why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's fuel economy test, which gives this Infiniti QX60 25 MPG on the highway, only averages 48 miles per hour. And we know that some people like to take their cars on actual road trips. So what we're going to do today is go out 50 miles and back 50 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour to get a more real-world figure. A couple of things worth noting for today's test. Outside temperature is 35 degrees Fahrenheit. It is quite chilly out today. We're going to be running the climate control in here in the cabin at 73 degrees auto. Tire pressures have been set to their factory door placard indicated 35 psi cold, and we'll be using the same gas pump both times using the same 3-click filling method to get the most accurate results possible. All right, let's go ahead and hop out, grab our first fill. Just about 6.5 gallons going in there for our first fill. There you go. I did use some 93 octane premium fuel here. So we'll see if that gives us a better result. 2022 car got 28 MPG in Charlie's test, so we'll have to see how we do in comparison. All right, gonna go ahead and get our climate control here set to 73 auto. Excuse the fan, it's gonna blow pretty hard at first just to warm up the cabin. And then we are also going to reset our trip here. All right, so a few different drive modes here on this Infiniti QX60. We have Eco, Auto, Sport, Personal, and Snow. Of course, for today's test, we'll be running the car in Eco mode, merging on the highway here. Now, the purpose of this test is not to hypermile. I'm not going to do any drafting or purposely economical driving. I'm simply going to merge on the highway, set the cruise control to a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour, and just drive for 100 miles to get the most accurate result possible. Go ahead and get merged here. The turn signal on this QX60 is like the quietest thing ever. You cannot hear it unless you are stationary. And it was the same story with our last QX60 that we were driving last year. Same exact way. All right, make our pass here on this Volkswagen Routan, which is actually just a Grand Caravan with Volkswagen badges. Ooh, and they do not have their cruise control set because they are now going faster than I am. We'll go ahead and slow down to 72 and hop in right behind them, actually. We do have adaptive cruise here on this QX60. You can set your distance here with this button. We're going to set ours to the closest distance, and once these cars go by, we'll go ahead and get up to our 72 speed. But we do seem to have an accurate readout here on our speedo versus our GPS. Pretty consistent with Waze here as well. Under first highway impressions, the QX60 is pretty cozy. We've got a pretty thick sidewall on these all-season tires, minimal wind noise, and it's a pretty posh cabin. The leather on the steering wheel is quite soft, the seats themselves are very cozy, and I actually appreciate that we have a separate climate control panel down here, separate from our infotainment screen. It is all haptic touch, which you do have to get used to, but it does give you some really nice feedback and some nice clicks in there just to confirm that you're actually touching something, so that's quite nice. Otherwise, though, adaptive cruise seems to work pretty nice. You can see we're maybe overtaking the Rutan at this point. Power adjust steering column, lots of luxurious things in here that I think will make this journey nice. We do have a Bose Performance Series sound system as well. And, well, I'm just going to go ahead and settle in. I think maybe by the end of the 100 miles, I will be able to overtake this Volkswagen Rutan. But stay tuned if you'd like to find out if maybe they learn how to use cruise control. But we're gonna eat up some miles here, and I'll catch up with you guys at the end of the 100 miles. Wrapping up our drive here in the Infiniti QX60, and on the cluster 26.3 MPG indicated, so about 1 mile per gallon and a half over EPA. But my concern is that when Charlie ran the test on the QX60 earlier this year on the 2022 model, he was able to achieve about 28, and the only thing I can think of is that it was quite a bit warmer when he ran that test. It was in the 70s out, and now it is just in the 30s, so it's the only thing I can think of, because I am actually running this on premium fuel, but we will have to see what the pump reads out once we get back to the gas station. Otherwise, though, this has been a super comfortable, smooth experience for me. The interior of this car is very nice. I'm a big fan of the seats, and ride quality is nice as well. Minimal wind noise, road noise, altogether pretty good Bose sound system, and it's just been a really nice drive here in the QX60. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out my last 15 or so miles here, and I'll catch up with you guys once I have brimmed the tank on the QX60. Today's trip was 96.32 miles, and we went ahead and put in 3.838 gallons of premium fuel, and that gives us 25 MPG even. So a little bit of a discrepancy from what we have here on the dash, right around 26. So if you were to average the two, it would be somewhere in the 25.5 mile per gallon range. Remember, EPA on this car is exactly 25 MPG, so pretty on the money there for EPA. But I think I would rather reward this car for what it was reading out on the dash, because that would be more consistent with what we saw on the previous QX60, but take this as you will. 26 indicated on the dash, 25 from our math. And in this QX60, we have a 19.5 gallon tank. So that gives you an effective highway cruising range of 480 miles. So not quite 500, but still a pretty decent amount to go on a road trip or whatever you desire to do. So not the most impressive numbers here on this QX60 today, but at least we did meet and somewhat exceed EPA. Overall, though, had a pretty good experience in this car. It was a super comfortable highway cruiser, a pretty decent Bose sound system, and I would certainly not argue if I had to daily one of these SUVs. But that'll wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you're curious to learn more about the QX60, make sure to check the link in the description. That'll take you to all of our other videos on this SUV. But that'll do it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one. This has been Chris here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.